Hi, Ben here at Numbergroup, here to give you a demonstration of our new SMS portal which we have just launched. So if you browse to sms.numbergroup.com, it will take you through to this portal login screen. I've obviously already put in the login details here, so we just log in. And then we're on the main dashboard screen. So obviously, as you can see, there's a number of subheadings here. You've got send, receive, contacts, mobile pages, ticketing, surveys, reports, and settings. Now, for the purpose of this video, it's more of an introduction. I'm not going to go over mobile pages, ticketing, surveys, or reports. I will go through those in a separate video. However, today we're going to focus on sending, receiving, contact management, and obviously the settings as well. So on the dashboard, you'll see some basic information. So you've got some stats. So you've got 7, 14, and 30-day stats. And obviously you'll see a stat graph there and some tips and tricks just below there. So we'll get into the meat of things first, sending messages. So if you want to send an SMS message, you'll go to send and then go to send text messages. This will then open up a new window here. So the first things first, you need to choose who you're going to send the message to. Now, the system has a number of different ways of processing people who you're sending to. You can send to a group, you can send to a contact. So basically, if you have contacts in here, you can select contacts from this list. You can also search for contacts here. You can also do an on-the-fly paste of numbers. So basically, if you had a spreadsheet of numbers, you could just copy and paste them in here, and then obviously the system would automatically parse those numbers and use them accordingly. Or if you just want to add one on the fly, you can just do so here. So for the sake of argument, we'll just put a random one in here. I don't know if this is a right number or not, but so there we go. So we have our number there, and it also gives you the option to save it to your contacts. So if you want to save that for further use in the future, you can do so by clicking that, and then you can put the person's name is test number. And then when obviously we send, that information will be saved into our contact list, and obviously we can then refer back to it there. So the next section is the message details. Now this is where we choose what we're going to include in our message, and also how we're going to send it, or who is going to present it from. So as you can see, we've got a sender's name, which in this case is testing, or there's a simple reply service. Now the simple reply service is simply that. It's an easy way basically to allow customers to basically send you an SMS back. By default, you send out from a name. Now names can't be replied to because there's no number to reply to. But if you want to be able to receive replies, you can use the simple reply service as and when you need it. Now the only downside of the simple reply service is the fact that it uses 1.5 credits per SMS rather than a standard 1. So as you can see at the top here, we've got 10 text credits. So if I sent a message of 160 characters or less, that would use 1.5 text credits. If I just use a standard message sending name, it would just use 1 text credit. Now you can also access templates. So if you've got a template saved, you can actually see them here, and you can select them from the list there, and it will automatically populate the information in here ready to be sent out. So we've got our number there. We now need to put a message in here. So we put, hi, this is a test text, spell it right, message. Now there are some options down the bottom here which allow you to add additional information and sort of features into your SMS messages. So the first thing is an attachment. You can actually attach pictures and so on and so forth onto it if you should wish to do so. However, that's not supported by your network, so we would advise against using it all the time. Mobile web pages, that will be covered in a new video. Short link is basically a short link. So basically, if you want to create a website, a link to a you'll see your website, but you don't want to use a full URL. So let's just say for the sake, we'll just say we're going to do numbergroup.com, and we'll just call it Numbergroup. And we can actually enable mobile phone tracking as well, which basically means if anyone clicks on it, basically it will say if you want to see the information about who is actually accessing the link or not. But if we'll unselect that for the time being, and we'll click Insert Link. Now as you can see there, it's generated us a short link which we can then use. So anyone clicks that link, it will automatically take them through to numbergroup.com. Okay, and you can use as many as few of those as you like, and you can create them on the fly if you wish to do so. The next one is the survey. Once again, we'll go through that in the next video. Then we have ticket code, once again, next video. And we've also got a ticketing link, which is also the next video. Now, we also have merge fields. So these are basically specific rich text inputs that you can put in there, which populate with different information. So you can also have first name, last name, and also there are 3 custom fields. Now, these match up to these here. So let's just say, for example, you wanted to put a salutation in the custom one. So we could have Mr. Test Number. So in this case, you could have hi, Mr. And then obviously you can then put first name, space, and then you can put another space in that and then put last name. So if you have a large number of contacts, which we'll go through in a minute, you can basically allow the SMS system to formulate the information from the database of your contacts into the SMS message, so we're personalized on each one. So each time you send out a message, if you're doing a bulk messaging to a bulk group, you don't have to randomly go in and make it a generic one. You can customize it per each user by using these fields here, which basically come from the messaging and contact system. However, for our purposes, we're not going to do that. We're just going to put hi, this is a test message. Okay. So as you see, it tells you how many characters you've used. Now, bearing in mind that each message is 160 characters, up to a total of 5 messages in total can be sent in one go. Now, you can also include an opt-out message if you want to. So that obviously comes in 2 different options. You can either have a shortcode or you can have a link. So if you're doing a marketing campaign and you want to be able to give people the options to opt out of it in the future, which you should do really as per GDPR rules and so on and so forth, you can include this at the end. So if you basically just click that tick box and you change the drop down box to the one you want to use. So in this case, we want to use that one. As you can see, it says opt out. But we can obviously change this if you want to. So to opt out, please visit. And there we go. Now, whenever someone clicks that link, they'll be taken through to a website which basically will list them as, which will basically opt them out for future, so you know that they've opted out, and therefore you can update your contact list accordingly to remove that person from the list. Further down, we've got segmented. And we've got validity. So we have a validity period for the message, and we also have a segmented, which basically allows you to stagger the sending of your message. You know, sending to a large number of people, this is quite advantageous, because if you send to lots and lots of people at the same time, the more people you send to, the more likely you are to potentially get the message blocked, because there's mobile networks might think it's spam or something like that. So in many ways, it's good to segment and stagger the sending of the message. So when you're finished, you just click send a message. The system will then process the message and then send it. And it is simple as that. If you wanted to choose a different name, so basically at this we're currently sending from testing, you can click to add sender. And it will basically pop up a new window here, and it will allow you to enter another name or number in here. So let's just say you want to send it from Bob. Click create, and you now see that Bob is also in there along with testing, and you can select those from the list there. They can be edited later on, and I'll show you where in the settings menu later on if you wish to add or remove them as and when you should need to do so. The other thing I should mention is the Simple Reply service basically links a number to your account. So if you ever use that service, a number is basically hard linked to your account. So if anyone messages that number in the future, the message will automatically come through to you. And it doesn't cost you anything to receive messages. The only time it costs you is when you send out using the Simple Reply service. So if you send out using it, like I said before, 1.5 message credits per message. Whereas if you send with a standard sender's name, it's just 1 credit. Okie doke. So we've also got send review. Now obviously, because we're not actually going to send this, we're just going to leave. Now this is basically where, if you're sending a large number of messages, let's say you're doing a bulk batch of sending, let's say 500, 1,000 people or however many, basically this is a sending overview. So it's actually in the send review section. So when your message is being sent, it will show up on here and it will show you how many have been sent and also what the costs are and so on and so forth. Templates and drafts, that basically allows you to manage your templates. So if you want to create templates, you can do so from within there. Conversations basically allows you to view a conversation between yourself and a customer. Basically, so if someone has replied back to your SRS number or simple reply service message, you can basically see a conversation between yourselves separated out by contacts on this screen here. Now, if we go to receive, this is basically where you can view your inbound boxes. It's basically all the message you receive into the system. There we go. So you'll see here that you've actually got two different inboxes. You've got the simple reply service and you've also got this. Now this is a shortcode this is a keyword on a shortcode. Now you're given one of these free of charge with every account. So if you sign up with us, you'll get one of these free of charge. And basically it means that anyone can reply back to a message. If they send the message to 60777 and they prefix the message with BAMTW, it will go to yourself. And you can obviously use this as marketing and so on and so forth, or you can use it for sign-ups for marketing and so on and so forth. And obviously you can look at all the information, so you can actually view your inboxes, and there are various other settings which come in underneath here as well, which you can use for each one. The final section we're going to look at today is the contact section, because it's quite important. So this basically allows you to manage the a contact list within a system to basically allow you to easily send your SMS messages out accordingly to the correct people. Now you can obviously group them. You can obviously group the users together, or you can list them as contacts. So if we had sent that last message, the contact would have saved in here. But let's just say we're going to add a new user. So we'll add, so as you can see here, you've got three options. You've got add single. So if you just want to add a single user, you can do so here. If you want to paste a list, once again, you want to paste a list of numbers in here, and you can do so, and as it says, is ensure that you enter one number per line. Any duplicates will be automatically removed. And you can also upload via a CSV or Excel file. Now it is obviously important that you make sure you only include the information you want to upload, and obviously if you're using a CSV, to ensure you include which delimiter you are using to separate your values. Otherwise you're probably going to not get the data imported correctly. However, for the sake of this video, we're going to do a single number. And we're just going to pick one at random. So there we go. Like I said before, you can use the custom fields to whatever you want to. So if you want to use custom one for a salutation, so Mr., there we go. So if we now click save, you'll now see that we have the number in there, and test. So the first name is test, last name is number, and the custom is there. And obviously you can adjust these accordingly. Now if you want to copy these into a group, you can do so. So if you select that, you can actually move or copy to, I've already created a group on here called test. So if I select test from the list, and then I can copy to that particular group, it will now tell me that that's already been, contact has been copied. So if I now go to the groups, now if I look at our test group, you'll now see there's one person in there, and you'll see that there he is, Mr. Test number is in there. And obviously you can view all your groups, and you can create additional groups this way as well. So if we want to create another group, so call it test 2. There we go. And obviously there'll be no one in here to start off with, but obviously you can copy from, so you can copy from existing contacts, or you can copy from existing groups, or let's say if you want to do it based upon individual contacts, you can go back to single contacts and you can copy them from here. So if we want to move them to test 2, you can do so, or we can move them, so basically they'll move out of the single contact, so they're no longer in the main contacts lists, but they will be in the group list only. And so you've got a few options there. Now the opt-outs is basically where people reply back and saying they're basically opting out of your service. They will show up in here. Now obviously it's important that you update your contact list accordingly to ensure that any people that do opt out are removed from the appropriate groups or contact lists that you may own. And that's basically it from the contact. So it's very simple and quite powerful at the same time. Now the last thing we're going to look at today is the settings. So if we go to all settings, this is basically where you can do the bulk of your account administration. Very simple stuff, nothing particularly exciting in here. You can manage your senders' names from here. So you've got the two here. If you want to create a new one, you can do so. You can also delete them, and also you can change the default settings as well if you should wish to do so. And the final thing is API keys. Now we obviously support sending via API and also receiving via API. The API documents are separate. If you need them, just please contact ourselves and we can send them over to you. So if you want to set up an API key, you click on this. Now you can specify an IP address if you want to restrict it to a particular IP address, which we would strongly recommend. And note, you can add a note to it as well, which basically just gives a bit more information about what the API key is used for potentially. But once again, these are both optional. You don't have to use them. And once done, you just click Save New Key, and that will then produce the new key for you. And that is it. More videos will come about, we're going over the more advanced features such as the mobile pages, ticketing and the surveys functionality. Bearing in mind we do also offer some additional features, so if you do require another dedicated inbound number, so if you want to do two-way messaging to your customers but don't want to pay 1.5 text credits every time you do so, a dedicated inbound number would probably be useful for you. We can also provide you additional short words on a short code as per the one you get for free. So, but they do come at an extra charge. But if you are interested in those, then please contact us and we can advise you of the charging and so on and so forth. So that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this was informative.